Hello, friends. Today we will learn a very beautiful poem, Indian Waivers by Sarojini Naidu. I hope you will enjoy this simple yet meaningful poem. Now, something about the poetess. Sarojini Naidu was a famous political activist, that is, politician in India during freedom movement. She was the first Indian woman who became the president of the Indian National Congress. She was a great poet and was rightly called the Nightingale of India. Later, she became the first woman governor in independent India. Girls, she can be inspiration for you. Indian Waivers is a very famous poem written by Sarojini Naidu. Now look at the first stanza. We will discuss the first stanza. Waivers, waving at break of day, why do you wave a garment so gay? Blue as the wing of a halcyon wild, we wave the robes of a newborn child. Very simple. The poet is calling wavers and she is asking why they are very happy and what they are doing at the break of the day. Here the poet addresses wavers. Addressing means calling someone. So she calls wavers. Waving cloth is a very ancient art in India. It has its own tradition. You might have seen beautiful saris, cloths, dress material woven by Indian weavers. Weaving means windne. Weavers, windker. They weave these cloths on looms, that is called handloom, and they are artistically woven. For example, Paithani, Kanchivaram, Gadwal. These are famous types of handloom saris and we can enjoy their design and color scheme. The poet addresses to these weavers who are weaving clothes day and night. Means their work is going on day and night. In the first stanza, the poet talks about the type of garment that the weavers weave in the morning. They are very happy doing their work. They look fresh and gay, means happy. So she asks the reason of their happiness. They reply that they are weaving robe, that means dress, for a newborn child. The color of this garment is blue, like the color of the bird. Halcyon means kingfisher. Kingfisher is a bird which has bright, colorful feathers, especially blue. You can see in the picture. Friends, the verbal meaning of this stanza has some deep implied meaning. This stanza represents birth and childhood of human beings. Means the morning is related to the beginning of life. The blue color represents quietness and freshness. The image of break of day, that is early morning, suggests the beginning of life. At this stage, how we are? We are very fresh. We are very active and we are very cool also. So, at this stage, everything is cool and beautiful. It also represents happiness, hopefulness, and freshness. There is no sorrow in this stage of life. That is why look at the baby. How the baby is very cool, very hopeful. So that is why weavers are very happy to wave the dress of newborn child. Now come to the second stanza. Weavers, waving at fall of night, why do you wave a garment so bright? Means they are doing their work at night, fall of night. Means it is evening and at any time the night will be there. So, why do you wave a garment so bright? Their garment is very bright. Now they answer, like the plums of a peacock, purple and green. we wave the marriage bells of a queen. In the second stanza, the poet again meets the Indian weavers, this time during the fall of night. It's probably evening time or sunset. It is also the time during which most of the Indian marriages take place. The poet asks weavers why they weave a garment so bright like the plumes of a peacock, purple and green. The weavers reply that they weave the marriage veils of a queen. This stanza refers to adulthood, means when we are grown up and we have a challenging life. During this stage, humans are very active. How you are now? You are very active. So, their life is full of love and ambition. They desire for a better and successful life. The purple color represents wealth and green symbolizes development and progress. This is the very time when humans are very active and bright. It doesn't mean that there are no sorrows. It doesn't mean that there are no challenges. Although they face some challenges, they are quite positive and fresh. Now let us come to the third stanza. In this stanza, how do you look at the atmosphere? So it is colorless. Let us come to this third stanza. In this stanza, the poet finds weaver very solemn, means they are very quiet, and still means they are very quiet, serious, and sad. They are waving something strange and weird in the moonlit chill, that is in dead of the night, which is white as a feather. Look at the feather, and white as a cloud, that is colorless and lifeless. The poet wants to know why they are silent and what type of garment they are weaving. They reply that they are weaving shroud. Shroud means the cloth that is put on the dead body. Here you can look at this shroud for a dead person. Means the cause of their seriousness is the garment which they are weaving now. It is for a dead person. So thus the final stage of life is old age and death, which is lifeless and emotionless because it is the end of life. So the white color here symbolizes lifelessness and sorrow in the life. Now it cannot be colorful. So after paraphrasing these three stanzas, we will come towards appreciation. Look at the use of images and colors. Images means the expression that brings a certain picture related to it. Means when we read that word, a particular picture that comes in front of our eyes. So here are some examples of very beautiful images. Break of the day, halcyon, newborn child, weavers, plums of peacock, marriage well of queen, moonlight, white feather, white cloud and funeral shroud. You might have seen all these pictures in this lecture. So these are images, but they represent something. So they are symbolical. They represent the three different stages in life. Use of particular color is also symbolic. Means they represent something. Blue represents happiness and quietness. Purple symbolizes wealth. Green symbolizes progress. And white symbolizes colorlessness. So, in this way, the poem is beautiful because it is full of images and colors. Now, look at the figures of speech or poetic devices used in the poem. Alliteration. You have learned this alliteration in 11th, isn't it? Alliteration means the repetition of consonant sound in pleasing manner. So the examples of alliterations are waver's waving. Here "w" that sound is repeated. Plums of peacock. Here "p" that sound is repeated. Another figure of speech is simile. Simile means direct comparison. Two things are directly compared. And how we can understand that they are compared? Because of the use of word like or as. The examples here are blue as the wing of a halcyon. Here blue color of that garment is directly compared to the color of the wing of a halcyon bird. Like the plums of a peacock, means purple and green color of garment is compared to the color of plums of peacock, feathers of peacock. Plums means feather. White as a feather and white as a cloud. White garment, the color of white garment is compared to feather and white as a cloud. So these are examples of simile. Now next is metaphor. Metaphor means here the comparison is there, but we have to find it out. Means it is implicit, it is hidden, it is indirect. So here, robes of newborn child. Means the poet is not talking about the dress and newborn child. She is talking about the birth of human life. Break of day. She is talking about beginning of life. Marriage vows of a queen. She is not talking about any particular marriage, She is talking about adulthood. That is when we are grown up. Then funeral shroud. She is not talking about any particular dead person or dead body. She is talking about death itself. That is the stage of life. Now look at the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme, the last sound of the line. If it is repeated again in the next line, then we call it that the lines are rhyming together. Now here, first line rhymes with second and third with fourth. So the scheme is AABB. Use of interrogation. There are some questions, In 3 stanzas, there are 3 questions. So they have some particular use. They have some particular function. They add beauty to the expression. They create curiosity, and at the same time they give entire poem a dramatic element. Means we can consider that there is a dialogue between the poet and the weavers. So that is why the interrogations or the questions are used in the poem. See, poem is very short, seems to be very simple, but yet it has its own beauty and elegance. And that is the speciality of Sarojini Naidu. Now we will see the special features of the poem. Poetic style. When we talk about poetic style, means how she uses the words or what kind of words she uses, and whether there is musical quality or not. So if we look at this poem, then Sarojini Naidu's poetic style is simple, spiritual and musical. Why spiritual? I will tell you later. Theme of the poem. Theme of the poem is 3 stages in human life. It is not about weavers, or it is not about garment. It is not about day and night. It is about life. Three stages in human life. And this life with its particular color scheme means particular state, condition, and emotions. Now we will come to the message. Before that, I remember one of the famous songs in Marathi. Have you heard a famous Marathi song by Gadima in the film Jagacha Pathivar? There was a film Jagacha Pathivar. एक धागा सुखाचा शंभर धागे दुःखाचे जरतारी हे वस्त्र माणसा तुझिया आयुष्याचे. If you get chance, then you must listen to this song. Means this concept of human life as a garment is well accepted in Indian philosophy. So according to Indian philosophy, this life means this body, this human body and life itself is like a garment woven by that unknown weaver called God. We can't see the weaver, but we can see the garment, means ourselves. And how we are different. We have different colors, means we have different nature. We have different kind of life. So life is colorful. So he uses his own particular color scheme. God uses his own particular color scheme while waving this cloth, and we must accept it. We cannot deny it. We cannot say that, no, no, not this color. Yes, whatever the life is given to you, we have to accept it. So life is beautiful. And all these three stages are natural in life. That is the message of this poem. I hope you might have understood the poem and enjoyed its colorfulness, simplicity of expression, and musical quality. Thank you.